So good, you're doing so good. After party Yeah!
You're gonna hear about my party, they're gonna be shutting them down, they're gonna probably be arresting me, doing all types of crazy things just because we wanna have a good time.
Sean Diddy Combs has received a new set of lawsuits from alleged victims of sexual, including from one woman who claims he and an unnamed celebrity at 13 years old.
Oh gosh! A 12-year-old girl surrounded by Hollywood's most powerful men at a party shrouded in secrecy. And now, years later, the shocking allegations are finally coming to light. Darling Daveigh Chase, once Hollywood's sweetheart, mysteriously vanished from the spotlight after that fateful night with A-listers like Ashton Kutcher and Diddy. And honey, you won't believe why her name is suddenly making headlines again.
Wow, okay, I've got a lot I can't tell. So, can't tell that one either.
Your parties are the hottest ticket around.
They won't even give me a permit for the parties, man. They don't want me to throw the parties no more.
Was this just another celebrity party or something far more sinister? And how does Danny Masterson, now convicted, fit into this twisted web of secrets?
Danny Masterson was sentenced to 30 years in prison after being convicted of those earlier this year.
Get ready, because we're about to spill all the tea about Hollywood's dark side and why Daveigh Chase is finally breaking her silence. Let me tell you about sweet little Daveigh Chase. She was the absolute epitome of innocence in Hollywood. This talented darling starred in The Ring, brought Lilo to life in Lilo and Stitch, and even voiced Chihiro in Studio Ghibli's Spirited Away. She had the world eating out of her palm, honey. But behind all that glitz and glamour, Daveigh's story took such a disturbing turn. And it all started with an invitation to a 2003 VMA afterparty hosted by none other than Diddy himself. Just imagine, she was only 12 years old. While everyone was mesmerized by her talent, no one knew the dark truth lurking behind those closed doors. Let's start from the very beginning. Our girl Daveigh was born in Las Vegas, Nevada on July 24, 1990. Growing up in tiny Albany, Oregon, she seemed like any other child, but darling, she was anything but ordinary. By 3, yes 3, she was already stealing hearts with her singing and dancing at local events. Her parents saw that special spark and encouraged her to chase those Hollywood dreams. Would you believe that by 7, she landed her first Campbell soup commercial? That precious face and natural charm had everyone swooning. Around the same time, she snagged a lead role in a musical called Utah, massive for a little newcomer. Things really started heating up when she began auditioning for TV shows and movies. By 8, she had her first major TV gig, and honey, she was just getting started. In 2003, she landed the role of Joyce, Oliver's quirky bestie in Fox's Oliver Bean. But hold on to your seats, because this was just the beginning of Daveigh's meteoric rise. 2002 was the year that changed everything for our precious Daveigh. Disney handpicked her to voice Lilo in Lilo and Stitch. And oh honey, it wasn't just another Disney movie, it became a cultural phenomenon. Daveigh brought such spunk and heart to Lilo that she had audiences worldwide absolutely wrapped around her little finger. That iconic line, Ohana means family. Family means nobody gets left behind or forgotten, became everyone's favorite quote.
Ohana means family. Family means nobody gets left
behind. Or forgotten.
Let me tell you something. Daveigh didn't just read lines. She breathed life into Lilo. She made us laugh, cry, and root for this little girl trying to keep her family together. Disney was so in love with her that they had her voice Lilo in everything. The TV series, video games, spin-offs, you name it. She wasn't just playing a part anymore, darling. She was a star. But here's where things get deliciously dark. While everyone adored her as sweet little Lilo, Daveigh took a completely different turn that same year. She terrified audiences as Samara Morgan in The Ring. You know that spine-chilling scene with the girl crawling out of the TV? That was our Daveigh. Her performance was so haunting that she snatched the MTV Movie Award for Best Villain. And trust me, she earned every bit of that trophy.
I just want to say, everyone will suffer.
And if that wasn't impressive enough, In the very same year, she voiced Chihiro in the English version of Hayao Miyazaki's masterpiece, Spirited Away. When that film won the Academy Award for Best Animated Feature, our girl Daveigh became part of not one, but two iconic projects in a single year. By 12, this incredible talent had accomplished more than most people do in a lifetime. She was juggling major roles in movies, TV shows, and voice acting while trying to navigate growing up in the spotlight. Directors and co-stars called her wise beyond her years, with an incredible work ethic. But darling, being a young star isn't all red carpets and autographs. Hollywood can be absolutely brutal, especially on children. The constant pressure, the loss of privacy, and the industry's darker side can take such a devastating toll. While Daveigh seemed to have it all, things weren't nearly as perfect as they appeared. Just as quickly as she rose to fame, our bright star started fading from the spotlight. By her late teens, the big roles stopped coming, and everyone started wondering, what happened to the girl who used to be everywhere? Some thought she just wanted a normal life, but others whispered about much darker reasons, about the exploitation of child stars and the toxic environment surrounding young actors. You see, back in 2003, something happened that's now sending shockwaves through Hollywood. Daveigh was invited to one of Diddy's legendary after-parties. A recently resurfaced video clip has gone viral, and darling, it's causing quite the storm amid mounting charges against him. In this chilling 2003 clip, Diddy, who's now facing serious legal troubles, can be seen inviting 12-year-old Daveigh to an MTV after-party. An after-party tonight, yeah? The video is now everywhere on social media, raising serious eyebrows as the 54-year-old awaits trials on trafficking and racketeering charges. In this disturbing footage, Diddy approaches young Daveigh backstage at the 2003 MTV Movie Awards, drink in hand, chatting with her about the after-party. While we don't know if she attended, Page Six reports that they'd met earlier that night when he and a 25-year-old Ashton Kutcher presented her with the Best Villain Award for The Ring. And get this, while she was accepting the award, Kutcher hovered over her, telling her she was doing so good while rubbing her shoulder.
So good, you're doing so good.
I just want to say,
When this video hit the internet, social media absolutely exploded. Users called out the disgraced rapper as sick, gross, and disgusting. One ex-user wrote, "How did it take this long for Diddy to be arrested? Nobody thought it was odd he was inviting 13-year-olds to his party? This was approved and encouraged at the highest levels." Another user didn't hold back. "Diddy did all this publicly. Imagine what happened behind closed doors. I hope they lock him up for life." Many also slammed Kutcher's behavior, with comments like, "Is that Ashton Kutcher creeping behind?" And "There is no hell deep enough or punishment strong enough for this group." These parties were notorious for their exclusivity and over-the-top behavior, but what really raised eyebrows wasn't just the party itself. It was the guest list. We're talking Ashton Kutcher, Danny Masterson, and Diddy himself. And here's the shocking part. They're all either directly or indirectly linked to serious allegations. Let me spill some tea about Diddy's rise to fame. Starting in NYC in the 90s, he went through names like they were fashion trends: P. Diddy, Puffy, Just Love. He launched Bad Boy Records in '93, which became Bad Boy Entertainment. And darling, when he signed the notorious B.I.G., aka Christopher Wallace, they were raking in millions.
Puffy has been making money off of Biggie's name for longer than Biggie was alive. People keep forgetting he hadn't turned 25 yet. He was still 24 when he died.
But honey, Combs wasn't just making headlines for his music. He was everywhere: fashion, TV shows, you name it. And this is where it gets juicy. He started rubbing elbows with none other than Ashton Kutcher.
Our relationship was really bizarre. We became fast friends, and we used to just hang out and watch football together. And he came over, and I was like, "I'm going for a run." He's like, "Oh, I'll go for a run with you." And so he comes over to go for a run.
Want to know how these two connected? It all started with Punk'd, But Diddy didn't stop there. He produced seasons of Making the Band on MTV. And during all this, Ashton and Diddy were practically inseparable. Ashton was a regular at Diddy's famous Labor Day white parties. Here's a little tidbit that hasn't aged well. When Time magazine named Ashton one of the 100 most influential people, Diddy gushed, "Ashton Kutcher is a sounding board for me. Like me, he's a mogul, a new media mogul. But we're like yin and yang. I'm in your face, and he's all cool and suave." Now that Diddy's facing these serious charges, people are wondering if Ashton knew more than he's letting on. And speaking of Ashton, last year, he and Mila found themselves in hot water, all thanks to their support of Danny Masterson, who's already faced legal consequences for his actions.
Wow, okay, I've got a lot I can't tell. So, can't tell that one either.
With Diddy facing charges that include everything from ST ficking to racketeering, people are now wondering if Ashton Kutcher knew more than he's letting on. In any case, Ashton Kutcher is definitely not the innocent party in all of this. You see, last year, Ashton and Mila found themselves knee-deep in controversy, and it's all thanks to some resurfaced clips like these.
And she's one of the girls that we're all waiting for to turn 18. Along with the Olsen twins.
Apparently, the Kutchers faced backlash, which stemmed from them backing Danny Masterson, who has already faced legal consequences due to allegations of SA.
Breaking news, Danny Masterson has just been sentenced to 30 years to life in prison and has been ordered to register as an offender. A jury convicted the actor on 2 counts of in May. Masterson was charged with 3 women at his Hollywood Hills home.
After the Kutchers' vocal support for the accused, Christina Ricci boldly called them out, triggering an avalanche of revelations. Against a dramatic black background, Christina shared something powerful. "Unfortunately, I've known lots of awesome guys who were lovely to me who have been proven to be abusers privately. I've also had personal experience with this. Believe victims. It's not easy to come forward. It's not easy to get a conviction." She didn't stop there. Sometimes people we have loved and admired do horrible things. They might not do these things to us, and we only know who they were to us, but that doesn't mean they didn't do the horrible things. And to discredit the abused is a crime. People we know as awesome guys can be predators. It's tough to accept, but we have to. If we say we support victims, women, children, men, boys, then we must be able to take this stance. While Christina didn't name names, everyone knew exactly who she was talking about: Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis. These two found themselves in the eye of the storm for their unwavering support of Masterson. Can you believe they actually wrote to the court as character references begging for leniency? In his letter, obtained by The Hollywood Reporter, Kutcher called his co-star a role model with exceptional character. He even claimed Masterson kept him away from drugs. And Mila? She painted him as some kind of guardian angel, an exceptional older brother figure. She praised his drug-free lifestyle that supposedly helped her make responsible choices. But the backlash was fierce. The couple had to address the storm brewing around them with a video apology.
Said,
A couple months ago, Danny's family reached out to us and they asked us to write character letters to represent the person that we knew for 25 years, so that the judge could take that into full consideration relative to the sentencing.
Kutcher tried to explain that the letters were meant for the judge's eyes only, not to undermine or re-traumatize the victims. But darling, the damage was done. Last year, Danny Masterson received his sentence, 30 years to life for his crimes. During the hearings, his victims bravely shared their impact statements. "I wished I had reported him earlier to the police," one woman said, her voice shaking. Another showed incredible strength, telling him, "I forgive you. Your sickness is no longer mine to bear." Throughout it all, Masterson stayed silent as the judge read his sentence, the maximum penalty allowed. His wife, Beau Phillips, broke down in tears right there in court. The jury heard testimony about drugging and SA, with crimes dating from 2001 to 2003, right at the peak of his TV fame. Allison Anderson, representing 2 victims, praised their incredible courage. These women helped hold a ruthless predator accountable today, showing tremendous strength despite harassment and intimidation. And darling, Daveigh Chase wasn't the first or last child star to find herself in questionable company. Hollywood's history is filled with stories of young talent being exploited under the guise of mentorship. While Ashton Kutcher has mostly avoided consequences, the fallout for Danny Masterson and Diddy has been absolutely earth-shattering. Remember how brilliant Daveigh was as Samara in The Ring? Her performance was so iconic that it defined the entire franchise. But when the sequels came around, fans were shocked to see only archived footage of her. Some say she wanted to avoid being typecast. Others think the studio just wanted to save money. Either way, it marked the beginning of her fade from the spotlight. Her final role came in 2016's American Romance, a thriller about the diorama killer. Despite its intriguing premise, critics called it dull and icky. Then came the troubling headlines: a 2017 arrest connected to a stolen car, followed by substance possession charges in 2018. Today, Daveigh Chase remains a mystery. She's virtually disappeared from public view, with only rare social media posts giving glimpses into her life. Some fans hope for a comeback, but others believe she's found peace away from Hollywood's chaos. Her story reminds us that fame doesn't guarantee happiness. Sometimes stepping away is the bravest thing someone can do. As we wait for Daveigh to share her full story, the spotlight turns to Hollywood itself. How many more stars have similar tales of betrayal? And will those responsible ever truly face justice? And that's all the tea for today, darlings. Bye-bye.